Hello, my little piggies. Welcome to I am a bit of an expert at Peppa Pig podcast. I'm your spooky host, Josh Chapman, and on the other end of the line is my spooky co-host, Matt Frost.
That's Bat Frost, Josh, and yeah,
Bat Frost. It's like The Simpsons when they all have those hilarious names after their Halloween episodes.
yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. So we're breaking tradition. We're going to. We've actually had probably been the most requested thing that people who've gotten in touch with us said is, are you going to do special requests or special episodes or jump ahead of time? And I was kind of a bit like, it's probably easier if we do them in order. But with Matt, it was like, well, it's Halloween coming up. We should do the Halloween special. I'm like, oh, that's actually a really good idea. So we're going to look at Peppa Pig Pumpkin Party.
Yeah, it was a really good episode too. It was
Yeah.
yeah. I hadn't seen this one. Have you seen this one?
No. Now, I suppose because we are jumping ahead in time, there are going to be characters in here that haven't been introduced in the show yet. So we'll definitely mention them, but we won't really get into their, we won't get into too much detail about them because we'll do that when we get to them, especially. But, there are.
We won't do their origin story.
No. We won't do their origin stories and stuff. But the most interesting. Now, this was a special that aired in 2015, so quite recently. So a lot of established characters, a lot of established in-jokes. The show is very, very comfortable in its own skin by now.
Yeah, and it's probably our first, because we've jumped so far ahead, there's a bit of costume change straight off the bat. They're wearing their winter clothes.
That's very true. Now, it must be said that, to correct me if I'm wrong here, Halloween is never mentioned by name.
No, it isn't, is it? It's just pumpkin party.
Now, is that just because Halloween isn't in every country? In China, they don't have Halloween. In other countries, I don't know. But is it more that people will know? People who know what Halloween is will know what it is, and people who don't know what it is will just think they're having a dress-up party.
Yeah, perhaps. I know it does, go across lots of different markets. It's redubbed in some markets that we'll get onto it in another episode. But there's an episode that's banned here in Australia. So
oh yes,
yeah, bit of sizzle there, but yeah, there might be something there. I have seen a different Halloween episode, and I can't think at the moment whether they mention Halloween in that one either.
Too much devil worship in Halloween, maybe.
Yeah. Does your neighbourhood, or do you and Kat and Olive do anything for Halloween?
No, we've never really done it. Certainly not. Probably at Oliver's daycare. Probably this year they probably might do a bit of dress up stuff for it, maybe. But no, I've been to Halloween parties and things. I mean, it was certainly when I lived in England, it was a much bigger deal.
Okay.
We would do. Yeah. Halloween is big there as well. It's not as big as it is in the United States, but it's definitely bigger. They do trick or treating. It's more for kids. I was already an adult, but I did go to a few Halloween shindigs in England, and it's right near Guy Fawkes time as well, which is a big thing in Britain as well. And it's when you can buy fireworks. So around the same time as Halloween, I was living in my flat in Hackney, near the main streets of East London, and some of the estate kids would let off their fireworks and things all around, and their crackers and stuff all around Halloween. So that was always my abiding memory of it. So what happens in this episode, Matt? Give us the spooky gist.
The spooky gist. So basically, the pigs are hosting a pumpkin party, which ostensibly is Halloween, and they go for a bit of while they make a jack-o'-lantern, and Daddy scoops out the insides to make his famous pumpkin pie. We've done a jack-o'-lantern here, and that's not how it works. What you scoop
I've
out.
done it a few times. Yeah, I've done it. We had actually the night, about 2 nights before I moved back from England, we had a going away party for me when I moved away from England back to Australia. We had a Halloween party, and I gutted a lot of pumpkins before that party. So it actually wasn't that long ago. Actually, probably about 5 years ago now. But yeah, it's hard work.
Yeah, well, we do celebrate Halloween on the street, and we only got into that because Soraya is quite taken by all that sort of stuff. All
the devil.
Yeah. She's staying up late listening to Slayer at the moment. So we sort of, decorated the house, but it's quite taken off in our particular street. So people actually come to our street, like from outside of the neighbourhood.
Well, we just moved. Like we moved into our new house the start of this year, so
you're not sure yet.
Not sure. Yeah, we'll just have to see. And there are some young families. There's a couple around here, not heaps, but there are a few. So we'll just have to see. We'll just have to make sure there's some, Alan's party mix on hand just in case the kids come knocking at the door.
We got cleaned out twice last year. Sorry. We had to go get more sweeties for the kids, and our own kids had an absolute ball.
I'll bet they did.
Lots of people participating in the street. Like Karina, because our kids love it so much, Karina goes and sends a note around, like, you just stick something in your letterbox and say, look, if you want to participate, and stick this on your letterbox. If you don't, we won't bother you. So
yeah. Oh, that's nice. That's a good way of doing it.
Oh, absolutely. Look, if you don't want to participate, it'll be fine. Like, but some people put like up large, very passive aggressive sort of. We do not believe in this holiday. We do not want you to, bother us. And basically, everyone's different. But
you know which house is the egg.
Yeah, yeah. That's probably what my criminals would do when they get bigger. But
so there's a pumpkin carving.
Yep.
And then they make the jack-o'-lantern, and then Peppa and George get into their costumes, and George seems to have a very on-brand Mr. Dinosaur costume.
Yeah. It's it makes you wonder whether Mr. Dinosaur is like a character in the Peppaverse, because it's pretty well spot on, isn't it? It looks exactly like his toy.
Exactly.
Yep. And
so
Peppa's a witch.
Been made or is... Yep, Peppa's a witch, which is quite funny later on. So Daddy Pig sort of teaches her how to do a witchy laugh and things, and then they get a knock on the door, and Rebecca and Richard Rabbit are at the door, and they're what are they dressed as?
So I was watching it and I was sort of laughing. Richard's a monster carrot, and what's Rebecca? She's a carrot as well. But
I think she's like an old carrot or a like it's a bit off color. I think there was she said something about it being up with it, that it was old or scary or something had gone rotten in a carrot or something along those lines. But they're just those rabbits. They're just obsessed with carrots, basically, aren't they?
And Peppa asks Rebecca, "Is that what monster carrots look like?" About Richard's, and Richard like roars at her, and I think Rebecca goes, "Oh yeah, that's what they look like." It's just
yeah, of course.
Yeah. Now, where do they go from? Is it the ponies next?
No, they go to Susie Sheep's house, and she's dressed as a vampire. But she doesn't actually know what she is.
She knows she's a vampire, but she's like, what do vampires do? And she to her parents, and her mum sort of looks up at the sky and goes, "Oh, they sleep all day and stay up all night." And everyone goes, "Ooh."
And this is very much later Pepper stuff. A lot more self-referential. A lot more. If there's a weird thing of why would a 4-year-old be being a blood-sucking vampire? There's a lot more of that kind of. Oh, we know. So we'll just have these little moments where the parents are just sort of dancing around the subjects and things. But it is very funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I quite
so they
like
pick up.
it.
Yeah, that's a good one. They pick up Susie's sheep, and then they head over to Pedro Pony's place, and he's a bit of a fanboy, isn't he? He's a bit of a superhero fanboy, Pedro Pony.
That'll probably come out more in later episodes. It's not probably the first time I can remember seeing his parents, but they're quite magnificent-looking ponies with their spots. So
are they still ponies if they're grown up? Oh, that's another discussion for another day, isn't it?
Yeah.
They could be Shetland ponies. They don't.
Yeah, I guess ponies is all about height, isn't it? Not the
age.
Yeah, not yeah. I think. Yeah, pony. Yeah. I have a very.
We
good
could fall
friend
down the
that
rabbit
likes
hole.
horses,
We could fall down
yeah.
the rabbit hole on this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Right.
essentially, Pedro rocks up. He rocks up in his off-brand Superman outfit.
Yep.
And he's a monster Superman. And then Danny Dog, very aptly, is he hasn't really put much effort in at all, has he? Really?
No, but it's pretty funny. He's a werewolf. So.
And I think by now, certainly by now, Wendy Wolf. I kind of just assumed it was Wendy Wolf when I heard the thing, and she's just kind of been left out of this one because too hard to explain. That she bit of cultural appropriation going on there by Danny Dog.
Yeah. The wolves don't participate in this holiday for that exact reason, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Like we just avoid it. We don't like to talk about it. So they pick up Daddy Dog, and then Emily Elephant and Edmund Elephant turn up, and Emily Elephant's gone to a lot of trouble, and she's completely greenified her face.
Yeah. She's an alien. And she proves that by going bleep bloop bloop or equivalent.
She might have been reading what was on Mummy Pig's computer.
She is dual glypod. So
now that reference, depending when this episode comes out, might not make any sense because this one might actually come out. I have to check when Halloween is. It might actually come out before we do Mummy Pig at work. So you might not understand that reference until next time when that one comes out. But that's just too bad. That's the way it goes because we just we have actually recorded this one a bit closer to Halloween, but that's okay. That's the way it goes.
Yep. We live life on the edge here. I'm an expert. And
then the disaster that anybody at a Halloween doesn't want to have.
Missing one. Richard Rabbit. Sorry. Edmund Elephant comes as a ghost.
Oh, he's got the sort of the Charlie Brown sheet on his head, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he corrects him and says, "I'm not a ghost. I'm a spectral apparition." And
he seems to be putting a bit more effort into his names than he is into his costume, really.
Yeah, and when Pepper goes, "What's that?" and he goes, "It's a Clever Clog's ghost."
So he's owning it, isn't he?
Oh yeah. Well, he is a Clever Clog. So that, we'll deal with him. We'll deal with Edmund later.
So sorry, I got a little bit ahead of myself. But then Candy Cat turns out, and she has gone dressed as a witch as well, and Pepper is none impressed.
No, and it's not like it's not like a variation on a theme. It appears to be the exact same witch costume.
They've both been at Target or something like that, and they've both picked them off the rack.
Yep.
And then they both seem quite upset, but then they kind of both get over it pretty quick.
Yeah, well, there's a bit of and this is like Candy. You can't, Pepper says you can't be a witch, and Candy says, "Well, I'm going to turn you into a frog," and sort of throws some shapes with their wand. It does nothing, and Pepper says, "Well, I'm going to turn you into a frog." Throws some more shapes at Candy, and nothing happens. And I think they sort of
stalemate. I think you're going to say Candy Cat throws some shade.
Yeah,
There's a bit of that going on there too.
yeah. Look, I'm 41. I don't think I can be really saying stuff like that.
um, so anyway, everybody gets back to the house to have a party, and they've got that kind of. I mean, you're the musical director here, Matt, but they have their kind of standard music for the party. That sort of do 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 do, like they're at some sort of 50s surf beach party.
Yeah, yeah. It seemed like a couple of bars off, break into the Monster Mash basically. So, which would be good.
Now, before we close up, we have to touch on the best moment of the whole episode, which is Madame Gazelle's invited herself along to the party.
Yes, yeah, and she speaks to Susie. It's Susie that's a vampire.
Yep.
Yeah, and she says to Susie, "What are you?" And she says, "I'm a vampire." And Madame Gazelle says, "Oh, it reminds me of the old country." And then what does the narrator say, Josh?
That she hasn't left a reflection in the mirror.
Yeah. Madame Gazelle does not have a reflection in the mirror.
So Madame Gazelle is a bride of Satan or whatever it is. The vampires is what they're suggesting.
She is Nosferatu.
Nosferatu. So, I mean, I always assumed, I think we touched on this, is that I thought that she was sort of from the Swiss Alps or somewhere like that. So she was sort of more Scandinavian, but they're sort of suggesting that she's sort of more of a Romanian, I mean, Transylvania, obviously, but I think Transylvania became Romania. I think I'd have to check my research and things, but they're... I
don't want to get geography now. Isn't Scandinavia like Norway and...
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't Switzerland down lower?
Yeah, well, Transylvania is originally was a region in Romania. So, the old country, if they're suggesting that's where she's from, they're saying that she was from Transylvania. But I always got the impression that she was more from the Swiss Alps and things. But, it's Halloween, they're having a little bit of fun. I don't see this as canon, as...
I've seen the trailer to Flight, and that looked like it was set in America. So I think there's vampires everywhere. So there might be
we'll read too much into it.
No, but I do like to think of Madame Gazelle as a night. Yeah.
Which also means she live forever, But she does get a lot of work done during the day for someone without a reflection.
Yeah, that's true. I guess maybe it's like in the best traditions of the very special episodes that they aren't canon. I think we'll have to. We've had some very knowledgeable people give us some feedback and chat to us on social media. So if you have an opinion on what should and shouldn't be considered canon in the Peppaverse, we would love to hear from you. So
yeah, that's right. Do you want to see Madame Gazelle taking Pedro Pony's dad out behind the house and sucking his blood dry and leaving him dead out the back? Or I think we'll leave that to the YouTubers and things. I don't want to see Madame Gazelle doing that, needing to feed.
No. Or maybe once a year, I guess. So
once a year. So a very good, fun episode, that one. And I think that's fun because of, different setting, pumpkin party and stuff. But I think a lot more of the later episodes are a lot more in-jokey and a lot more, I think, easier for the grown-ups to watch.
Yeah, and I think it's best when there's lots of characters too. And there's lots of characters coming out in this one. The kids play and stuff together. So yeah, it's. I'm thinking of another episode. So I'm just going to park that thought. So
you're going to bank that one.
Yeah,
Save this Christmas. Mate.
Yeah, going to bank that one. Yeah, I think there's plenty of Christmas episodes. So
yeah, I know. I think there are a couple of quite long ones too. We'll have to plan ahead a little bit on that one. But if that's what people want, let us know. So you can find us on all the socials at Peppa Pig Pod. Any closing thoughts there, Matt, before we sign off?
I'm very much looking forward to doing more special episodes. I think it was good fun to jump forward.
It is nice to jump forward in time, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Leave us a review on iTunes as well if you get the chance, and bump us up. We're really happy with the numbers at the moment. We're doing really well, so keep that going on. And thanks again, Matt.
Thank you, Josh, and good night, piggies. Woo!
Yeah, we're playing a tune and we're singing a song with a bang and a bong and a bang. Bong, bang, boo, bing, bong, bing, bing, bong, bingly, bongly, boo. Bong, bing, boo, bing, bong, bing, bing, bong, bingly, bongly, boo.